At 62, Evander Holyfield finally revealed 5 boxers. He was scared to fight. Hook. They called him the real deal, 4-time heavyweight champion, the warrior with the biggest heart in boxing. 44 wins, 57 fights, never backed down from anyone. Evander Holyfield fought Mike Tyson twice, let Tyson bite his ear off and kept fighting. He battled Riddick Bowe in 3 wars that shortened both their lives. He faced giants, monsters, and demons. But at 62, sitting in his Atlanta mansion, surrounded by championship belts and fading photographs, the real deal trembled. Not from age, from memory. "People think I was fearless," Holyfield said quietly. "They see me fighting Tyson after the bite. They see me getting up from Bowe's punches. They think nothing scared me." He shook his head. "I was terrified. Every single big fight. But 5 men? 5 boxers made me pray harder than I ever prayed before. Made me question if I wanted to live." At 62, Evander Holyfield's speech is slower than it used to be. The wars took their toll. His Bible sits beside him. The same Bible he read before every fight, the same prayers, the same fear. I wasn't the real deal because I had no fear. I was the real deal because I fought anyway, despite the fear, through the fear, with the fear. 5 boxers terrified Evander Holyfield, 5 men who made him question God, question himself, question everything. This is his confession. Number 5. George Foreman. Houston, April 19, 1991. Evander Holyfield versus George Foreman. George Foreman was 42 years old. Fat, slow. A joke, everyone said. Coming back for money after 10 years selling grills. When they announced the Foreman fight, I laughed, Holyfield admitted at 62. Big George? At 42? Easy money. Easy defense. But something changed when Holyfield watched Foreman train. George hit the heavy bag. 1 punch. The whole gym went silent. That sound, like a car crash. And I thought, what if that lands on me? Foreman was old, but old George hit harder than young George. Physics and desperation. I was 28 years old, in my prime, undefeated, and I was scared of a 42-year-old man who looked like someone's grandfather. But that's what power does. It doesn't age. It just waits. Training camp was torture. Every sparring session, I made them bring in big guys, heavy guys, guys who could hurt me, because I knew. 1 punch from George and I go to sleep. Age doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter. That right hand? That's forever. Fight night. 12 rounds of survival. I didn't try to knock George out. I tried to survive him, stay away, move, jab, make him miss. For 12 rounds, I ran from a 42-year-old man. And I'm not ashamed, because surviving George Foreman at any age is an accomplishment. Holyfield won by decision, but he didn't feel like a winner. After the Foreman fight, I went back to my hotel room. I was exhausted, not from boxing, from fear. For 12 rounds, I was 1 punch away from being another name on George Foreman's knockout list. That fear, it never leaves you. At 62, Holyfield understands what Foreman represented. George taught me that power is eternal. You can be old, fat, slow, but if you can hit, you're dangerous forever. That's terrifying. Because you can't outrun power. You can only survive it. Number 4. Larry Holmes, Las Vegas, June 19, 1992. The fight Holyfield regrets. Larry Holmes was 42. Evander was 29. Former champion versus current champion. Legend versus prime. Larry Holmes scared me more than George Foreman, Holyfield confessed. Not because of power, because of intelligence. And intelligence is more dangerous than power. Holmes had the best jab in heavyweight history. 48 wins. Beat Ali. Beat Norton. beat everyone with one punch. I trained for Larry like I was fighting God, because that's what it felt like. Fighting someone who knew everything, seen everything, done everything. The fear was psychological. Larry could see what I was going to do before I did it. He'd fought my style 100 times. Power fighters, cruiserweights moving up. He knew all my tricks. And I knew he was 3 moves ahead of me every second. Holyfield dominated the fight. Won easily. Made Holmes look old, but the victory felt hollow. I beat a 42-year-old man. Again, the world celebrated, but I knew the truth. I didn't beat Larry Holmes. I beat old Larry Holmes. Prime Larry Holmes? That's a different story. At 62, Holyfield still thinks about it. What if I had fought Larry at 28, when that jab was lightning, when his footwork was perfect, when his brain was sharper? I don't win. I can't win, because Larry Holmes was too smart, and smart beats strong, every time. The regret is specific. I was scared of Larry Holmes because he represented my future, an old champion getting beat up by a young lion. And I watched myself do to Larry what was done to so many others, and I knew, one day, someone will do this to me. Holyfield was right. Vider Belfort did to 58-year-old Holyfield what Holyfield did to 42-year-old Holmes. Karma, Holyfield whispered at 62. I beat up an old man, so boxing let a younger man beat me up. That's justice. Scary justice. Number 3. Riddick Bowe, 3 fights, 3 wars, 3 pieces of Evander Holyfield's soul. Riddick Bowe was my nightmare, Holyfield said at 62. Not because he beat me, because he showed me I could die in a ring, and I'd keep fighting anyway. November 13th, 1992. First fight. Holyfield lost his titles. Unanimous decision. Bowe was bigger, stronger, better. I trained my whole life to be heavyweight champion, and Riddick took it from me, made me look ordinary, made me question everything. But it was the second fight that changed Holyfield forever. November 6th, 1993. The rematch. Holyfield won. But the cost was devastating. I gave everything in that second fight, everything I had, every ounce of heart, every drop of courage, and I won. But after, I couldn't remember the fight, couldn't remember going back to the hotel, couldn't remember celebrating. The brain damage was already starting. Then came the third fight, November 4th, 1995. Before the third Bowe fight, I prayed different. Not for victory, for survival. Because I knew what Riddick could do. I'd felt it twice. And I was scared it would be worse. Round 6. Bowe landed a left hook. Holyfield went down. Hard. When that punch landed, I left my body. I was somewhere else, watching myself on the canvas, watching the referee count, and a voice said, "Stay down. You've done enough. Go home." Holyfield got up. I don't know why I got up. Pride, stupidity, faith. I got up, and I won the fight. But I lost something I never got back. What did he lose? My memory, my speech, part of my brain. The third Bowe fight took years off my life, maybe decades, and I knew it would. I was scared it would, and I did it anyway. At 62, Holyfield speaks slower than he used to. Forgets things. The effects of 3 wars with Riddick Bowe never faded. Riddick and I are friends now. We laugh about the old days. But privately, I'm scared. Scared of what those fights did to my brain. Scared of what's coming as I get older. Scared that I traded my future for 3 fights. Number 2, Lennox Lewis. 2 fights. 1 draw, 1 loss. The man who officially ended Evander Holyfield's reign. Lennox Lewis was my worst matchup, Holyfield admitted at 62. Too big. too skilled, too everything. I knew from the first bell of the first fight. I'm in trouble. March 13th, 1999. First fight. Madison Square Garden. Lewis was 6'5". Holyfield was 6'2", 1.2. The size difference was crushing. Every time I got close, that jab pushed me back. Every time I tried to work inside, Lennox tied me up. For 12 rounds, I felt like a child fighting a grown man. The judges called it a draw. Controversial. Most people thought Lewis won. I got a gift that night, a draw when I should have lost. And instead of being grateful, instead of walking away, I took the rematch. November 13th, 1999. The rematch. Las Vegas. Before the second fight, I prayed for a miracle, because that's what I needed. Lennox Lewis was too good, too big, too skilled. I needed God to intervene. God didn't intervene. Lewis dominated. 12 rounds, unanimous decision, not even close. I stood in that ring for 12 rounds getting hit by a man I couldn't hit back, couldn't hurt, couldn't discourage. Lennox was perfect, and I was just there. The fear wasn't about losing. I was scared of what Lennox represented, the future, the new breed of heavyweight, 6'5", with skills. I was the old guard, the cruiserweight who moved up, and Lennox showed the world. That era was over. At 62, Holyfield watches Lennox Lewis documentaries. Lennox Lewis proved I wasn't the best heavyweight of my era. I was the best small heavyweight. But against a skilled giant? I had no chance. That's terrifying. Working your whole life to be the best. And meeting someone who shows you you're not. Number 1. Mike Tyson. 2 fights, 2 wins, 1 bite, 1 legacy forever changed. Mike Tyson scared me more than anyone, Holyfield confessed at 62, not because of his punch, because of his mind, or lack of it. November 9th, 1996. First fight. The world expected Tyson to kill Holyfield. Before that fight, everyone told me I was going to die. Literally die. Mike Tyson was a killer. I was a cruiserweight. It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. But Holyfield had a secret. I wasn't scared of Tyson's body. I was scared of Tyson's soul, or whatever was inside him, because Mike Tyson wasn't human. He was something else, something dark. Fight night. Holyfield dominated, stopped Tyson in round 11. When I beat Mike the first time, I felt relief. Not pride, relief. Because I had survived. Survived the monster, survived the chaos, survived Mike Tyson. But the relief was temporary. June 28th, 1997. The rematch, the bite. Before the second fight, I had nightmares. Not about boxing, about Mike doing something insane, something inhuman. I couldn't explain it, just a feeling. Round 3. Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear. Twice. When Mike bit me, I wasn't surprised. Sounds crazy. But I knew. I knew Mike Tyson was capable of anything. That's what scared me most. Not his punch, his unpredictability, his chaos. The fight was stopped. Holyfield won, but the bite defined both men forever. For 25 years, people asked me about the bite. Not my victories, not my titles. The bite. Mike Tyson took my ear, and somehow he took my legacy too. But the fear went deeper. I was scared of Mike Tyson because he represented everything boxing shouldn't be. Violence without honor. Power without respect. Chaos without consequences. And the world loved him for it. That's terrifying, that the monster is more popular than the hero. At 62, Holyfield has forgiven Tyson. They're friends now, business partners. But the fear never disappeared. Mike is different now, calm, peaceful. But when I look in his eyes, I still see it. The demon, the thing that bit me, it's still there, quiet, sleeping, and I pray it stays asleep. 44 wins, 4 world titles, the real deal, the warrior with the biggest heart. But at 62, Evander Holyfield doesn't count victories. He counts fears. Foreman taught me power doesn't age. Holmes taught me intelligence beats heart. Bo taught me courage can kill you. Lewis taught me I was too small. And Tyson taught me that sometimes the monster wins, even when he loses. 5 boxers, 5 terrors, 5 men who made the real deal question everything. People ask what made me great. They expect me to say heart, or faith, or determination. Holyfield shook his head. Fear made me great. Being scared of Foreman made me faster. Being scared of Holmes made me smarter. Being scared of Bo made me tougher. Being scared of Lewis made me retire. And being scared of Tyson? That made me pray. At 62, Evander Holyfield lives in Atlanta. Preacher, father, legend. But the nightmares never stopped. I see their faces. George's power, Larry's jab, Riddick's left hook, Lennox's size, Mike's chaos. They visit me every night, reminding me who I was, who I fought, who I survived. The real deal. The man who was scared of 5 boxers. Heart doesn't mean you have no fear, Holyfield whispered. Heart means you fight anyway. I was scared, every single time. But I showed up, I prayed, I fought. That's the real deal. Not fearless, just faithful. At 62, Evander Holyfield closed his Bible. The faces were still there. They always would be.